Wherever people come together, systems emerge to guide behavior and to achieve common goals. Schools, churches, and communities all have their own system and rules. Think about Jason's story, how he graduated, got a job, earned a salary, and made choices about how he spent his money. All of this happens within a large system, which is the country's economic system. Economic systems are the frameworks that countries use to manage their resources and to make decisions and promote the well being of their citizens. For today's lesson, you are to be able to describe each economic system in detail, discuss the origin of each economic system, to list the advantages and the disadvantages of each economic system, and to write a paragraph about the global economy. And finally, we get to today's lesson, which we have already said it is titled Economic Systems. What is an economic system? An economic system is how a country chooses to run its economy. And what is an economy? An economy is how a country produces its goods and services, how it sells these goods and services, and how these goods and services are bought. And this will make sense as we move and progress with our lesson. It is a system that the country chooses to allocate its resources and distribute its goods and services. Economic systems aim to resolve the economic problem. I'm sure everyone knows the famous economic problem, which is we have unlimited needs and wants, but limited resources. To make sure that all our needs and wants are met, we need a system in place to carefully allocate resources and distribute goods and services. And so, this is the importance of an economic system. To produce goods and services, we need resources, and these resources are the four factors of production. We have entrepreneurship, which is the main human factor that combines the other factors of production. We have land, which is anything that is related to the natural environment or anything that is associated with land. Example, you can be a carpenter using wood for your business. So you need wood, and the wood comes from trees, and trees come from the natural environment. Capital, which is the money that we use to start a business, or resources that we need in a business, for an example, machinery. And we have labor, the human factor in the production process that uses the mental and physical abilities in the business, and that would be your workers. We have three main economic systems. We have a planned economy, which is also called a command economy, which is controlled by the government. We have a market economy, which is also called a free market economy, and it is controlled by demand and supply. We have a mixed economy, which is controlled by both government and the forces of demand and supply. We identify an economic system by answering these four questions. What is produced? How much is being produced? How is it being produced? And for whom are these goods being produced? Do you guys remember the definition that I gave you for an economy in the beginning of our lesson? We said how goods and services are produced, how they are sold, and how they are bought. Now, let's look at a planned economy. In a planned economy, the government makes all the economic decisions about the production and the consumption of goods and services based on their idea of what is good for the people of the country. In a planned economy, the government is responsible for all economic decisions, and the government decides on what is produced, how much is produced, the quantity, how it will be produced, and for whom will it be produced. So the government controls the four factors of production. The government acts as an entrepreneur. The government controls the capital. The government is the only employer, and all resources are owned by the government. Now let's look at the characteristics and origin of a planned economy. A planned economy is also known as a command or directed economy because in this kind or type of economy, the government directs and commands everything. The government owns the land, natural resources, and farms, so it makes all the economic decisions in the country. The concept of planned economies originated as a response to the challenges countries were facing, and so they took control of resource allocation to efficiently prepare for war, prioritizing military production, and stabilizing the economy. The approach allowed the government to better manage resources and respond to wartime needs, ultimately shaping the development of planned economies. And now we look at the advantages and the disadvantages of a planned economy. We can start with the advantages. The first one says the government directs economic resources to areas where they are needed the most. As we said, the government prioritizes the needs and the wants of citizens. They are more focused on citizens' welfare than profit and growth, and it is a stable economic system with little or no economic unrest. The disadvantages are that they are inflexible systems that cannot adapt to change quickly because they have a routine way of doing things. There is no incentive for people to do their jobs well, and it is difficult to motivate workers to excel. A market economy. A market economy is an unplanned economy in which land, property, businesses are owned by private people and not the government. They are owned by individuals and not the government. There are no true market economies in our countries or in different countries because the government intervenes in the economy of almost all the countries in the world. The characteristics and origin of a market economy. In a market economy, consumers, businesses, and the government spend money on goods and services. Remember to look at the keywords consumers and businesses. At the beginning of the lesson, we said that the market economy is controlled by the forces of demand and supply, consumers and producers, buyers and sellers, consumers as the buyers and businesses as sellers. Demand and supply. Demand means the quantity of goods and services consumers are willing and are able to buy at a specific price. And supply, the quantity of goods and services suppliers are willing and are able to supply at a specific price. So in this market, we say that it is controlled by the behavior of producers and consumers in the market. Workers and businesses make a priority by selling goods and services, and the government makes money from taxes and spends it on public goods and services. Market economies have their origin in the end of the feudalism in the Middle Ages, which lasted from the 9th to the 15th century. The feudal system was a system in which a few wealthy landowners, called feudal lords, controlled the social and economic lives of workers called peasants. The feudal lords allowed the peasants to live on their land in exchange for labor and services. Now, let's look at the advantages and the disadvantages of a market economy. The advantages are that they are very flexible and can adapt quickly to change because individuals don't have to wait for the government to tell them how to adapt. They reward innovation and technological developments. There is economic freedom, so if people work hard, they are rewarded and can improve their lives. Let's look at the disadvantages. There are large differences between the wealth of citizens. Some get rich while others stay poor. They focus on profit rather than on the welfare of citizens, unlike the planned economy. And they make products and services available to customers that may harm the customers because now we do not have a government intervention as we do have in the planned economy. And now we look at a mixed economy. A mixed economy is a mixture of private and government control of the economy. The government and the people and businesses or individuals own the land and the natural resources. The characteristics and the origin of a mixed economy. Most countries in the world today have a mixed economy with different degrees of government control. Even South Africa is a mixed economy. A mixed economy has its origin in both the planned and market economy. So it is a combination, a mix of the planned and the market economy. Some countries felt that a middle way between the two was the best way. Okay, now we look at the advantages and the disadvantages of a market economy. The advantages are that they combine government and private businesses for good economic growth. They encourage private businesses to make contributions to citizens' welfare. They promote competition but protect citizens as well. The disadvantages are too little government intervention can lead to a lack of economic equality. It may be difficult for the government to balance their level of economic activity to ensure most effective functioning. And finally, we look at a global economy. A global economy has four main participants. We have households, firms, the state, and the foreign sector. The foreign sector enables international trade, connecting a country's economy to the economies of different countries in the whole world. I'm sure when we speak about the foreign sector, most of you think of imports and exports. Us importing goods from other countries and exporting our own goods to other countries. Now, I hope that you have enjoyed today's session and you found it informative. And I think that it's now time to put your knowledge to the test. Please take a moment to pause the video and answer the questions on the following page before proceeding. I think that this will help you to see that you have been learning or to reinforce your understanding of this specific topic. Thank you so much for joining me for this session. Thank you so much for your presence. I hope that you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope that it was informative for you and that it will truly help you and give you understanding on this specific topic. Stay curious, keep learning. I'll see you next time.